Hello and welcome to my channel. Everything is divine. Today I want to start talking about the Course in Miracle workbook lessons. There is one lesson for each day, so there is 365 lessons. But before we also begin the lesson, I'd like to wish you a very happy new year, a very elevated happy new year 2021. Um, Before we begin the lesson number one, there is an introduction portion that I'd like to read and just talk about it a little bit before we dive into the lessons itself. Okay, so here we go. Introduction. A theoretical foundation such as a text is necessary as a background to make the exercises in this workbook meaningful. It says that, but that doesn't mean that you have to do the text first to do the workbook. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can do this in any order you want to. Yet it is the exercises that will make the goal of the course possible. There you go. So it's in the doing of the workbook lessons that our goal or of cleaning our mind is possible. That's what it says. An untrained mind can accomplish nothing. It is the purpose of these exercises to train the mind along the lines the course sets forth. The exercises are very simple, believe me. The exercises may be very simple, but when we get to start to do them, the ego that is within us has so many questions that it won't even let you probably go past that one line, and you're like stuck there. Huh? What is that? Like, I was that. I mean, that's been my experience, and that's been many experiences that I've talked to my friends who are doing this, my soul family, I call them, my soul family. That's our experience. The ego just doesn't want you to do, further. This is a scary portion for the ego, for it to know that you are now doing something outside of what it knows, and actually training your mind to get to a better place, to a peaceful place that's our birthright. Peace, abundance, prosperity, love, joy, that's all we are, and that's our inheritance that we inherited from our source. And our source is it's available to all of us, but the ego does not want you to have that. And we'll go through this, and I'll tell you, but that's interesting. So the exercises are very simple. They do not require a great deal of time, and it does not matter where you do them. They need no preparation. They are numbered running from 1 to 365. The training period is 1 year. Do not undertake more than one lesson a day. The purpose of the workbook is to train the mind in a systematic way to a different perception of everything in the world. The workbook is divided into 2 sections. The first dealing with the undoing of the way you see now. And there the ego is going to question you. Huh? What? So what we see in the world right now, or what you see in your world, forget the broad. Let's not talk about too broad because it becomes too much. Let's talk about your world. What's happening with your world? Are you in a happy place? Are you in a place stuck where you're thinking, how am I going to get out of this? Are you in a peaceful place? So whatever is happening in your world, whatever you see in front of you, that is what this is talking about. The way it's going to allow you is to undoing the way, to wake you up from the way you're seeing it now, and second, with the restoration of sight. Now, the Course does not refer to this sight. The Course refers to your inner wisdom, to your inner sight, that we, again, are all accessible. There is no one that is apart from this. There is no one that does not have an access to it. Perhaps we don't know, we are not aware of it, but we have it, and we can all access it. Each day's exercises are planned around one central idea, which is stated this. This is followed by the description of the specific procedures by which the idea of the day is to be applied. Many of the earlier exercises should be practiced with eyes open to emphasize that the aim is to learn how to see. This is very interesting. Also, unless you are instructed otherwise, it is recommended that each exercise be repeated several or even many times a day, preferably in a different place each time, and if possible in every situation in which you spend any long period of time. The reason I said it was interesting was many times we are all told to meditate, close your eyes. But when we close our eyes, to be very honest with you, we can seldom, first of all, be calm. Mind is constantly racing. So the course's way of telling you is that let's practice the lessons with eyes open first. Makes more sense to me. Because once you learn to have your eyes open and practice those lessons, it's easier then. It gets easier because that's a practice that you've already done, and then it gets easier to close your eyes and actually do those lessons, practice it closing your eyes, because now you've trained yourself to do that. Makes more sense to me. Yeah. The purpose is to train the mind to generalize the lessons so that you will understand that each of them is applicable to one situation as it is to another. The only rules that should be followed throughout are these. First, to practice the exercises with great specificity. Again, the ego does not want you to do anything specifically because it wants you to be rooted in this world specifically and be miserable specifically. But if there is something given that it's going to be threatened by, believe me, it's not going to allow you to do that. It's going to keep you stuck in that place. And the whole purpose of us waking up is to be aware of the fact that where are we stuck and what can I do to come out of that place to a better place. I'm not talking about time and space here. That can happen too. But I'm just talking about the place in everything is in your mind. So how can I come out of that place in my mind where I'm in constant stress and pain and miserable to the place where I am peace and love and joy and abundance and prosperous and, surrounded by all the goodies that I am entitled to. So each one applies to every situation in which you find yourself and to everything you see in it. Second, be sure that you do not decide that there are some things to which the idea for the day is inapplicable. This is very important because as you go through the lessons, the ego is going to tell you, let's just do this for this particular situation. Let's keep that in a separate bucket because that does not actually belong to you at this time. And if so, I'll get to it at that when the time comes. And believe me, that's been our life. Oh, don't you think so? Every time we do something and we actually put the other situation that we don't need, and then what happens is that situation actually follows you, and then it comes in a bigger way, bigger form, bigger way. But yeah, so that's very interesting. Keep an eye on what the ego is doing when you're doing these lessons. The aim of the exercises will always be to increase the application of the idea to everything. This will require no effort on your part. This is interesting again. This will require no effort on your part. So what are we talking about? In this physical world, in this material world, in this realm, in this third dimensional, we are talking about us as a body experiencing everything, but at the same time we feel like we have to do everything, and that is why we put in so much effort in everything. And what it is talking about is it requires no effort on your part. The course talks about little willingness. If you have the little willingness to come out of the place that you are on and to see something different, that's what it is talking about. Once you take that one step, the other steps that will follow is really not you, is the thing that's within you that is so intelligent. Excuse me, it has a purpose. That is the thing that will guide you. And it is my experience, my life experience, that I am telling you that yes, it exists. You just have to open your eyes and become aware of the thing that is within you, the soul that really wants you to thrive. and be the best version of you can be in this world. We'll come to that later, but we'll touch that. So it's worth repeating again. This will require no effort in your part. The exercises themselves meet the conditions necessary for this kind of transfer. Only be sure that you make no exceptions in applying the idea. This will interfere with transfer of training. Transfer of training in true perception does not proceed. Transfer of training in true perception does not proceed as does transfer of training of the world. If true perception has been achieved in connection with any person, situation, or event, total transfer to everyone and everything is certain. On the other hand, one exception held apart from true perception makes its accomplishment anywhere impossible. The very nature of true perception is that it has no limits. It is the opposite of the way you see now. Some of the ideas you will find difficult to believe and others will seem quite startling. It does not matter. You're merely asked to apply them as you are directed to do. That's the other thing. These lessons, you just have to be first willing to want to do it. Second, just do them. Don't mull over it. Again, the ego loves for us to stay in one place. And how? The ego's always question is how. The spirit's always question is now. Just do it. The how will be figured out. It's already figured out, actually. The how will follow. Just do it. Nike, just do it. So, you're merely asked to apply them as you're directed to do. You're not asked to judge them or even to believe them. You're merely asked to use them. It is their use that will give the meaning to you and show you they are true. This is a beautiful part of it. Just try them. This is an idea. You've been trying so many ideas. Just try them. If this idea doesn't work, you have 364 other lessons that you can apply and try them. And if all of the 365 lessons do not apply or do not work for you, no worries. You tried them and it didn't work. Hey, it's a win-win situation either way. Some of them you may actively resist. None of this will matter or decrease their efficacy. That is such a beautiful promise in this Course in Miracles. But allow yourself to make no exceptions in applying the ideas the exercises contain. Whatever your reaction to the ideas may be, use them. Nothing more than this is required. I'm actually reading from this purple book, the purple complete and annotated version. That's the book I'm using to read. I'm reading it from my phone, actually. I have a Kindle form, I have a book form. I do have the blue book as well. The reason I like this purple book also is because at the end of it, they have these notes that you could read. That's a little extra guidance. So it says, this instruction to practice the idea in a different place each time probably applies mainly to the early exercises in which you are applying the idea to your visual field. However, practicing in a variety of places and situations is a good practice throughout, as it will aid in generalizing the lessons. This likely means that the exercises aim at increasing our ability to realize that the ideas apply not just to these subjects we use in our practice periods, but to everything. In psychology, transfer of learning concerns the ability to transfer something originally learned in one context to additional contexts. It is the same concept that is mentioned at the end of the previous paragraph to generalize the lessons so that you will understand that each of them is as applicable to one situation as it is to another. These notes are pretty helpful. So that was the introduction part of the the workbook for students. We will start with lesson number 1. Today was the introduction part that I just wanted to get and see you at lesson 1. Do comment whatever you're experiencing at this time, because it's always, I feel that it is always helpful. If it's helpful for you, it's helpful for others too, because all of us are, believe me, Believe me or not, we are on the same boat, going through the same grind each day, trying to figure things out as we are walking in this on this planet together. So yeah, whatever your experiences are, and if you find anything helpful here, do comment. If you have a practice, do comment. Anything that is helpful to you is always helpful to others. With that, I'll end this one and we will see you in lesson number 1. Namaste. I love you.